All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's sprint zone time again, and let's get the party started. Got Byron giving a thumbs up, letting me know the camera is on as we approach the entrance to the sprint zone. Looking rearward, we see a new sight here. Rob Baum pushing above his weight, holding his own with some of the big men in the beginning. This looks like a ploy to either get some camera time or to just test out his mettle. Maybe he's been doing some secret training. Up front here, we got John Kraft taking it easy because of the new rules for safety, such that those that would take advantage of the dangerous S corners are nullified until then. Not a whole lot of power being thrown out. Looking at what I've got here, 150 watts or so, not much. See Hernan back there wearing some colorful camo. Very aerodynamic. And so I'm going to talk about Rob here a little bit since he's put himself like in the camera. So a lot of folks may not have noticed what Rob was wearing, but it's a club cut jersey. Lots of flapping going on, kind of ill fitting. We got a visor there. And I can't stress enough about how many watts you're actually bleeding off. You might as well just not train if you're gonna like wear clothing that's basically costing you upwards of 30 watts at higher speeds. Enough said about that. Looking over to my left here, we got John looking strong. His kit's fitting nice and tight. Hernan's kit fitting nice and tight as I lead the posse. And maybe for one of the first times ever, Isla rearing herself out there riding with the big men. So we've got Beast back there, aka Matthew Michaels, got Curtis, etc., as we head into the zone of corners here. Very nice. The pack is together, and it's very interesting that Rob and Isla are up towards the front. Now, this is actually good tactics because if you are far enough up, you won't get shelled off in these corners or gapped. And if you're strong enough, you'll be able to sit in and you'll have your chance at greatness. Everyone holding position very nicely. Isla looking around there. We got Hernan looking around, looking strong. Hernan just finished like a 120-mile ride a couple days ago, 50 miles the day after that. I'm surprised he's not fatigued, but looking strong. And here we go, into the corners here. And we see a little bit of gap starting to open up. But Hernan is right on the wheel with John and I up front holding it on. So John got a little bit of a gap on me, and I was taking it easy because I don't like to go to those corners too quickly because there's plenty of time here. Looking rearward once again, Rob Baum up at the front, looking good. Hernan looking good. And here we go, Beast. And this is the move that causes a little bit of problem here. So Matthew goes off the front and gets a good sized gap, and John is quick to cover here. This in the old days would have been game over. Two such strong men like that would get together. Hernan flexing hard, going after the big man. This is a divide and conquer. Everybody is working on their own here. I'm trying to hold Hernan in check. I'm a little bit weary. And look rearward. Isla at the front drilling it, keeping people honest. What is going on? Has the universe changed? And I saw some violations of the yellow line there, back there. I don't know who that is, but tisk, 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 as we've got a good gap. And in the old days, Hernan and I would have gotten third and fourth. John and Matthew would have fought it out for the lead here. But what do we have here? The Man of Steel on the gravel bike, bringing the entire field up to us. This is almost unbelievable. Unbelievable. Everybody is there. Easily, easily brings them up, and it's a new game. Not gonna sit on the wheel, going straight by. We got Tony. Looks like Joel there. Hernan tries to accelerate up there. We got John. And we got Curtis. Anybody else? Looks like Carlos and Michael. All right, so this is a fast moving train, and I gotta throw some serious watts in to try to like grab a hold of this one. I'm still a little bit fatigued from like earlier days of riding, and I'd spent a little bit of time out front. Not a ton here, but it costs energy when the boys are moving by this quickly. So I've managed to attach to Hernan, who is basically swinging on the rear. He's not able to make contact, can't hold it. Michael can't hold it. And this is where the training, the long distance will take its fatigue and the lack of training in your anaerobic zone. So I am going to bridge up to the main group, and I'm looking at my watts here, and it's not a ton of wattage to come up here. At the time, this felt really hard, and I was hoping to be able to recover. Maybe the little sprint took it out of me, but at this point in time, I am hurting. So there's a straggler off to our right, young lady who's probably out training, looking strong. Looked like she might have tried to jump on, but I don't think that was the case. So here's this little rise that shells a lot of people, and I wanted to make certain that I was going to be in contact here. I was worried that maybe John and Curtis were going to fall off. Then there's slight separation, but they are able to pull it back. Big men at the front. I believe it's Matthew, John, and Byron. I can't see who's up there. I guess it's John. And these three themselves are probably going to take the rotation all the way to the end, is what I'm thinking here. My goal is just to hang on. Watching some of the riders here, there's some twitchiness, slight twitchiness up here that kind of concerned me. It's interesting that with the maneuverability of some of these bikes, the slightest bit of input makes them very responsive, and you see the bike do little twitchy things that kind of unnerved me a little bit. But that being said, I'm hanging on and just hoping to make it to the end. At this point, with the kind of power being put out by the men up front, and I'm sitting in the back, 150, 160 watts, this should be no problem for me whatsoever. And typically, I would have no problem. Unfortunately, I am kind of gassed from some of the earlier efforts and the compounded days in a row. Looking ahead, looks like John, then Beast, then Superman up there, and we are just keeping it in a straight line to the point where the pace is so high, no one is even thinking about going around, especially with the big men up front. Now I can get a glimpse of John here, and this little grade is always something that wants to eject people. And I'm just trying to hang on here. Look at my watt; it's 400 watts at one point, just trying to stay in contact. Beast coming back. Look at that. You know it's hard when he makes it back into the third, fourth, fifth, sixth place. And I can just see him a little bit ahead of me. So John's got a sweet draft now behind the big man. Doesn't get any better than that. He's smooth and fast. And I'm hanging on behind Curtis here. Wish I had my heart rate monitor just to see what I was doing, but I didn't bring it today because, well, I was running kind of late. I just grabbed what I could. Here we go, John coming back, and the big men. And you can see where John, being the gatekeeper, allows the other John, Kraft, to ride with the big men. So it looks like it's probably Byron up there, Tony, Joel, Beast, JC for John Kraft. Maybe that nickname will stick. JC, Jesus Christ, yeah, whatever. And then we got John Bradley and then Curtis, who for the first time in a long time is in the GC. Those might remember that there was a horrible crash last year, and Curtis took a little time off, maybe a little PTSD, but whatever it is, he is back in the saddle, a ramming and a thumping. At this point, there's even more accelerations going on, and at this point, I have to wave goodbye to the train. Looking at my watts, wasn't a ton of wattage being put out by me, but just too much fatigue. There's Tony pulling out of the line, too much for him, as the big man Byron, aka the Man of Steel, flexes hard to keep his competition at bay. This was a hard ride, at least for me, relatively speaking. Not that exciting of a video, except for the impressiveness of the Man of Steel easily running down what I thought would have been an impossible duo of John Kraft and Matthew. Unbelievable. And you know those guys were probably pushing upwards of 300 watts. And for Byron to come past me and Hernan and to run them down like it was a walk in the park. Amazing. Just amazing. Anyway, I gotta go to work out. And here's some of the scenery. This is what you look at when you drop off the back. You just kind of drift off and say, look how nice and peaceful this is. Because you can't see anything up the road and you can't see anything behind you. So, once again, this was fun. It was safe. Interesting strategy and tactics. It's been a long time since I've seen the big men, and that would be Matthew under pressure, where it's not easy. I love it. This is what it's all about. Chance for everybody to flex and get stronger. Looking forward to more of this. Looking forward to be a little closer to the end, maybe next week. But it's not an A event for me, and I just like to get the good workout and the extra, compounded fatigue. It's good for me. It's very good for me. That being said, peace out, guys. And until next time, let's party on.